Welcome to tonight's sad reality, where the only thing more sad than life itself is probably honestly going to be the recording quality of these videos. Now, I love this game. This is probably one of my absolute favorite games of all time. So what better time than to talk about nostalgia, right? And with recording quality this low, maybe you'll feel nostalgic of those really old videos, and by really old videos, I mean just like garbage quality YouTube stuff. But as they say, one man's trash recording is another man's background noise, so hopefully always there's some value in all of this. Now, this is one of my favorite characters, and I used to play Huntress. This is actually the first character I played when learning this game, because I thought the crossbow was overpowered, and I was right, because overpowered, I mean, it's a fantastic starting weapon, and honestly, there's like no reason not to use it if you can, so definitely recommend Huntress. I know people like Soldier, though, and I'm like, no, Huntress better. Crossbow, of supremacy, I guess. So, when talking about nostalgia, well, for starters, I realized yesterday I forgot to talk about a lot of things, like that whole one man's trash recording or whatever is another man's background noise. I was gonna say that yesterday. I'd actually written it down while I was at work, and I just completely forgot to mention it. Just completely forgot to do any of that. So, like, what's the point of writing stuff down if I don't even use it, right? So I actually do have notes over here next to me today. I want to talk about that. And just stuff that I've forgotten about today. Which, I guess, fits this game perfectly, because I absolutely love this game. It's also a game that I'd kind of left behind. I put over 300 hours in this game. I loved it. I remember going off to a summer camp, and this is like all I could think about was getting back to this game and just playing it more. And that's how chronically online I am, if you haven't been able to figure that out by now. But, fantastic game. Loved it. I love, like, bullet hell, RPG, like, skill-based, like, this, you can beat this entire game with, like, just the sidearm, for example, if you know what you're doing, or even just dodge rolling as, like, the bullet, if you're playing smart. So, I loved a game where if you just learn everything about it, and you just play well enough, then you're going to do fine, and take damage there, apparently. There goes the flawless run, but it's fine, it's kind of inevitable anyways. So why do we feel nostalgia? Like, what causes us to experience that? The best answer I could come up with that was, it's that the thing you once had doesn't exist anymore, or at least not in the way that you remember it. I think there's some level up there, yeah. That's exactly what I've been wasting ammo on this, is I was kind of expecting to find an ammo box, and then it delivers. Look at that. I call it strategy, or luck. I call it praying for an ammo box and wasting ammo regardless, because it's funny. It doesn't exist in the way you used to think it exists. And the best way I could really explain that is, well, there's this sort of like childhood youth innocence to the games that we love. And I think everyone's got that one game. It's probably going to be different for a person. And the one I always look back on is a game on PlayStation 2? I can't remember. But my parents, when they were dating, they used to play this game called Gauntlet Dark Legacy. And my sister is actually playing it with the guy she's dating at the moment. Kind of funny how the turns have tabled, how it's come full circle, I guess. Green chest, yay. That means we open it. All that to say, that was one of the games that I really enjoyed back then on the PlayStation. I'm not really a console gamer either. There's also one that was like this snowboarding game. I have no idea the names of either of these. But they're both really fun. I just thought they were fantastic to play. The gameplay in them, I remember, like, it's well constructed in Gauntlet. I don't know so much about the snowboarding game. It was probably a little bit repetitive, redundant, whatever the word is. Also, I can't remember if this is the file where I have stuff unlocked or not, because I don't see the ammo pouch thing here. So I can't remember what file I loaded into, and that's honestly amazing short-term memory loss or something like that, just not paying attention to details. So I'm too busy trying to make sure I actually say everything I want to say in this video instead of forgetting like a loser. Also, this is one of the first bosses I fought as well, funny enough. I guess there's some, I don't know if it's like irony, like a funny story to tell, whatever, just in this also being that first boss. I remember struggling against this guy, and now it's just like, oh, we just like kind of run circles around him. Especially if you got these pillars in like the corners, these are really broken, and they make the game a little too easy. You just like kind of hide behind these. And eventually use a blank if you need to. I'm not even sure if I'll need to at this point. You just keep running away and kind of blind firing. If you pay more attention to your character and less attention to the bullets around you or the boss itself, you're actually going to find a little bit more success in this game, just by proxy of focusing on the character, which is your hitbox. And if you just aim in the general direction, you're probably going to hit most of the time. Especially if you're on controller with aim assist, but I won't judge you that much. Anyways, that was done. That's easy, fun, dandy, and good to go. Did I have speedrun timer on either? I don't even know if I had that on. But yeah, like, so those old games, they don't really exist in the way you remember them. And that sucks, too. I love those games. Like, that was definitely childhood memory growing up, and, I can't even remember really the extent to which I played them. I remember with Gauntlet, the reason I stopped playing that game was because as a child, I didn't really have this spatial awareness. I have a little bit of it now, probably a little bit less, honestly, as I still trip over stuff like... In retail, there's this thing that connects to the register where you take the sensors off clothes, and I'll like trip over that 'cause it's got a long wire sometimes. That's always fun. Did they add something new to the game? If anyone knows what this is, leave a comment. No idea, genuinely. Where was I? Oh yeah, so I pulled the cord over on the PlayStation and then it stopped working and I was like, oh, no more Gauntlet. I can't remember if my parents got mad or not. I just remember I was like really sad that I couldn't play that game I really liked. But it didn't really exist in my mind the way it used to. And even now going back, I could play it again and it'd be fun. But there's this youth or like innocence, just like, hey, you've never played a game like this before, like a bullet hell, like level up, go kill him, shoot him, smack him, boss slaying RPG. And it's never something you're really going to experience again. It's kind of the same thing with Undertale too, where people are like, hey, I wish I could go back in time and play this game again that I haven't really played before, you know? I'm not doing Resourceful Rat. I don't feel like it, and I'm not good enough. I just want to like keep talking and hopefully do just one run today. But if you could go back in time and like forget the story of Undertale and then replay it again, I know I've heard a lot of people say that they would, and I can't blame them. I spoiled that game for myself because I watched a bunch of YouTubers play it, and I'm like, man, I kind of missed out. But also not that much, because I don't like paying for things if that's not super obvious. And, well, it's kind of just, that's the way I've always worked with that. I love the Lead Maiden, such a fun gimmick. Probably shouldn't have wasted a blank there. Oh well. I'm not sure if it was really a waste either. So I don't know if I would have taken a hit. Also, I always think these look kind of silvery in this light. Maybe I'm crazy though. And my general rule of thumb in this game as well, I only open things that are green or above. That's just the way I do this. Do not be like me. If you have 5 keys, you should probably open the chest. Like, there is no reason for me not to do that other than just me having a really weird rule of thumb. Or rule of the gun, or something, I don't even know. Game fun, jokes good, melee weapons give you damage, and, damage, that's the word, jam. But back to nostalgia. I keep talking about this game forever, and I feel like that's kind of one of the symptoms of nostalgia, is just remembering things you used to really love, even if it's in a slightly different way. I'll never be able to re-experience the difficulties in this game, because, quite frankly, I've played the game in its hardest state, and that was just when I didn't really know what I was doing back then. But now it's just like, well, I've played the game before. I know the enemies, the attack patterns, and all that, and it's not going to be as hard as it once was. Is that, I mean, enjoyment or whatever? I don't actually know. It's kind of the answer. I like things when they're easy sometimes not. It really depends. I mean, I play idle games. It's literally sitting there clicking buttons. So, I'd imagine it's not too hard. But I will never really get back the challenge of that. Unless I go back to floor 6, but I'm also probably not doing that today because I don't really feel like it. I think this is also the ultimate game when it comes to nostalgia too, because you're literally killing your past in this game. And I'm like, oh, that fits so well. I'll talk about that. It's such a great topic for it. And let's get rid of that. Not dealing with it. Hey, look at that. I kind of had a feeling. I was like, that wall looks sus. It's like in GeoGuessr when they're like, yes, the trees look Scottish. They're like, what do you mean the trees look... They do, trust. Anyways, I'm checking my notes real quick for a half second so I can get back on where I was. Remembering the emotion more than the event. It's feeling for a version of life that felt easier, fuller, or more real, even if it wasn't. Or kind of this just projection of like what it once was or what it could have been. The Medusa, the Cordon. Yo. I was like, this is a bit of an easy boss, and I say that, and I'm gonna choke really hard. Just watch. Watch and learn. If you want a lesson, a master class on choking. Prepare to be amazed. Let's see if I can get like Pierce for him here. I'm not at the right angle for it. Also, it shows I don't have any more blanks, and I just wasted my armor. Dang it. Yeah, so much for no hitting this one as well. Masterclass in choking, as they say. Also, I remember that first attack too, with like the scream attack, where it just doesn't really explain to you that stuns you for a second until you look at your character. I couldn't figure that out for the longest time when I first went up against that boss. That was one of my moments. Yeah, I put 300 hours in this game, not because of grind, but just because it just was a really fun game. I did all of the, I can't remember what it's called, like the rainbow chest stuff, and then like the hexes or the, oh, it's the resourceful rat room. I can't remember what it's called, but the special, like, curses in each room or whatever, just, these are challenge run thing, generic RPG, bullet hell, Isaac challenge, something. And it was fun, I liked it. I would probably go back and do it again, except for the fact that I have other things to do, like play idle games for no reason, I guess, other than Steam achievements, because we have over 10,000, and I guess I still need more. Human greed can surely not be satiated. Does that pierce tables as well? Looks like it does. Wow, that's crazy. No poison. This is the part of the game where you just get so many projectiles on screen, it kind of becomes a little bit hard to focus. But that's also funny too, because I remember talking about, it's hard to talk with some games where I don't really know the game very well and have to focus, but like, again, you probably can tell I'm talking a little bit more here, and that means I know the game a little bit. I've got 2 armor, and I'm cranking 90s. It's Fortnite. This is my Fortnite. Because I said so, I guess. I was about to screw up after I say that. Pride comes before the fall. I love poison. We love poison. Wish I had like fireballs just so I could stack it with the poison in that one particular moment. There we go. As I say, that shouldn't be anything more than a connecting room. I would say usually full clear in this game. I know if you're doing an actual speedrun, you're not supposed to full clear, but I've always enjoyed doing that, I guess. It's just like more enemies to kill, and that. There's been saying that a lot. It's just like a thing I've picked up, is saying this, that, whatever. It's a really great way to fill a sentence where you have nothing better to say. I should become a politician. I love meta-analysis. Also, if you don't know, the tables have a mini blank effect if you drop the table right as bullets are nearby, which is a bigger hitbox than the table itself typically is. So, fun fact if you didn't know that and you want Enter the Gungeon tips and tricks to beating your first cast. Alpha bolts are pretty sick. Also didn't realize that I had a thing with that, but that's cool. Added effect poison. Neat. Neato. I'm probably gonna open the chest regardless of what type it is here. I was trying to go back in the hallway, but it didn't let me. Wow, I suck. This is why you should just honestly just use your weapons, even if you want to conserve ammo. It's almost always worth just using the weapons. You might as well. I know you want to conserve ammo, but like, do you really need to? You're probably gonna beat the boss anyways if you just keep spamming left click. Welcome to idle games. Alright, nostalgia, nostalgia, nostalgia. Words that mean things that I should talk about and not talk about other things, because that's not the point of this. If this were sad reality, then I've failed to speak about how sad it was, I guess. Which I guess is even more sad. How brain-rotted this generation is with our low attention spans and inability to hold a conversation. Where's the last enemy? I shall check out the notes after this room. 3 key, oh look at that, 7 keys, this is so necessary. Yeah, nostalgia definitely hits the hardest when the thing you miss wasn't perfect necessarily, because I think a lot of people are like, oh, seriously? So fun. I love doing that too, where you've got like the speed effect between rooms, just so it's faster than running into the crap. That's always so peak. But yeah, it's neat too when the thing's not perfect, and you can look back and be like, I know this game wasn't perfect, but I still kind of enjoyed it because of that. Like, again, I consider this game to be kind of easy now, just because it's predictable, right? I mean, you know kind of what enemies are going to spawn, you know that their HP scales linearly, unless you're in multiplayer, which it changes a little bit. And just kind of basic stuff like that. You know that, like, the Holy Grail spawns. It's a D tier item for some reason, so that's, like, the only reason to open a brown chest. I'm opening this chest regardless. Is this the... I don't remember what this thing does, and I don't think it's that good, because it's a shotgun with a massive amount of spread. This is why you don't open blue chests, kids. But it's best when the thing's not perfect, because I can look at this and be like, it's not a perfect game, it's not a perfect challenge, but to me it is what I really, really, really enjoyed. And I don't even consider this game to be that old either. I mean, I was playing Cave Story the other day, right? And, like, that's an ancient game. That's like Dark Sorcery from Forgotten Times kind of platformer. I mean, the game came out in 2004. I was born in 2004. 21-year-old here, which if you're a 90s kid, you should be scared, because that means that you're like 30-something, I guess. Be afraid. 21-year-olds calling your game old that you grew up with. I actually had a coworker who was talking about that the other day, so I was talking about he's just kind of speedrun Cave Story, and I was like, oh yeah, this game's really old, whatever, and he's like, what do you mean I was playing that back in high school? And I'm like, I'm sorry, man. Welcome to being old, I guess. I actually learned today as well that the PlayStation 5 came out more than 3 years ago, so fun fact, if you want to feel old, maybe that'll contribute to that, I guess. And this is exactly why we wait. Oh, this is... I don't remember what that is, actually. So much for remembering items. Proton backpack. Oh, this is the one that flips. Okay, that's good to remember. So it's got the fire side, it's got the normal side. I have two sides. There are two wolves inside of you. And they're both... I'm not gonna finish that sentence. But we move on, we find new games and stuff. I mean, Exit the Gungeon came after this game. And they're actually making Enter the Gungeon 2, which is one of the reasons I actually thought of this game. I didn't even know that either. One of my friends brought it up to me, and I'm like, seriously? Sick. I have missed this game so much. This is like my one good memory. This is my core memory, if you will. It's like Inside Out, kind of brain rot. I've already popped both of my blanks. This is the bad. This is the bad. Also, I like this phase. It's kind of chill. I don't like that you can't damage him, but it's like, you don't really have to think too hard. I will say Exit the Gungeon is much easier than this game if you want to play a game, or if you want to learn how to play a game with similar mechanics. Also, if you want to control, you can slow down time while switching guns if you want to look for a specific gun. If you're like me and you're a little bit brain rotted and you're trying to optimize your DPS slightly. And by that, I mean, I can't remember which guns are the best for raw DPS. I'm guessing a shotgun wouldn't be bad here, even though I was criticizing it earlier. But all that said, there's a few items in the game that do actually break the DPS cap, especially on bosses, like the one-shot cannon, which, fun fact, that was the first way I managed to beat the Resourceful Rat in this game. I was one of those kids that played before he was even boss, so checkmate, old people, young people, something. Flare, no, it's the Hecknelly, Heckblaster, yeah, Lonelli. Casually combining my sentences and words and memories and descriptions. Yeah, we move on from games though, right? It's just, that's what happens naturally. New games, new people, new versions of whatever. And that's fine. But I think that also kind of builds this memory, and you'll also burn out eventually if you don't move on, right? So it's kind of good to leave something in a state where you remember it, and it was good like that, you know? You don't want someone to stick around too long, and otherwise it'll be bad. And that's why you see YouTubers leave eventually, because they get bored and tired and just like, hey, I want to do other things in life. And I'm like, you know what, that's totally fine. You're also throwing away $1 million, but you're totally fine. You know? It's crazy, because you can be on one side of it and not really see the other side, but when you're in a position like that of comfort and know what you can do, then who's to judge, you know? Focusing up a little bit more here. About a little bit. I mean, I'm gonna read my notes in the middle of this. After I kill this guy, kind of. Probably less health. Well, I guess I used to have less health. Also, I know this is not my most recent file because I'm finding cell keys, which to me means that I don't think I have the bullet that can kill the past on this time. I don't know. I'm not braining too hard if that's not obvious, and if I end up not doing the past because I don't have the bullet, tis whatever. I always told a story, and a decent story. I felt like the last two videos were just kind of mid, but I really enjoy this game. I could talk about it forever, and I think nostalgia is a great topic because it applies to games, people, and everything in between. I guess even more irony using the super meat gun in this. Nostalgia, wow. I love fire effects. Kind of hoping for a shrine here just because I remember those and like they're kind of rare but funny and not like super game changing. And I can spend all three of my blanks so I have an excuse to like not no hit the boss. Also, I'm kind of hoping it's the wall and not the pillars. Pillars I usually take a hit on. Wall I feel like is a lot more predictable. I'll say that and then immediately take a hit. That's what you get for not focusing. Also, I hope the bitrate's not, like, dying on this video. This would be one of those videos where I just absolutely hope the quality is semi-decent or it's watchable, because, man, I'm enjoying talking about this. The armor. Good night armor. You like that during the tutorial? Maybe? I don't know. Is this the... Oh, it's like an RNG gun where it can just spawn a few different things. That's kind of what I'm getting out of it. Yeah, I don't really use this gun very often because I don't really open blue chests. Look at that, there's that rift thing again from earlier. Missiles. I'm gonna miss half of them. Oh, look at that, slow down just for that. Insane play. So, what's special about nostalgia? I mean, nothing really. It's kind of different for different people, I think. And I think the amount that you experience it probably has to do with the duration of time you spent with the game originally, and then also the amount that you miss something based on just how good your experience was with it originally. Which again would vary from person to person, so it kind of makes sense that it's different. So I'm checking for secret walls with the amount of balancing those projectiles do. Actually, did I already find the secret wall earlier too? Am I crazy? Yeah, no. I don't know, I'm crazy. Bomb, little bomber, these are mid. I kind of don't want the proton backpack, and that's out of ammo. But I might, well, I'm gonna refill it, screw it. I'm also one of those weirdos that doesn't like really spending stuff in the shop just because I realize I can do other things with the moolah. So I'm like, might as well if I can. But then that's dumb because you could be using that towards conquering the world. Oh, these also bounce? Oh, that's really cool. I didn't even notice that. I'm not prepared for that. I'll the blank there, so I didn't want to take a hit, but I didn't need to. Gosh, it's so hard to talk and finish this. To be fair, I didn't really have too much else to say other than that with nostalgia. I mean, I want to get to at least the Dragon here. And speaking of, I mean, one other thing too with, I guess, sort of nostalgia. D&D elements in this game, of course, are really cool and kind of funny at the same time. The Gungeons and Dragons update, all that. The Valsky and the Dragon, whatever. Big fan of D&D, always have been. Might even make a video where I talk about maybe more nostalgia or this, that, whatever, like I was saying earlier, joking, I overused that. And, play some D&D. I mean, probably not like D&D as you know it, but I have a game in mind, so we'll see. Is there anything else I'm forgetting to talk about as well? Because kind of going through like a mental checklist here, because again, even yesterday's video, I was just like, man, I felt really empty for absolutely no reason. I could have done way better. I think too, with stuff like this, success is very much not dictated by luck or whatever. I mean, consistency, I'm doing this daily. But it'll very much be the amount of effort put into it, and then, not just effort, but also by proxy, the, like, what am I bringing to the table, right? Energy, and if I'm not bringing that, then what's the point of kind of watching these? It needs to be quality background noise, right? Like, ASMR boyfriend gets run over, and yeah, quality background noise, things normal people listen to. Other random things I can think of. Today at work, nothing too crazy, although the schedule's been super messed up. But I do actually get to sleep in tomorrow, which is nice because I literally have been running on about 3-4 hours of sleep the past 2 days this week. Might be 3, but I've already forgotten, so I don't know if that means a sign of no sleep or a lot of sleep. Or sleep loss, sleep deprivation, something. Anyways, complete aside from that, I actually did take a big old nap when I got home yesterday, so... Yesterday, and today actually, so both days. Hey, it's the creep. Yay. But yeah, so then I ended up catching up on the sleep anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And just talking with people, you actually kind of find that, oh hey, turns out you don't really need to sleep, because if you just talk with people enough, you'll just kind of stay awake. Keep your hands busy, and sleep will never really be a problem. It's funny too, though, with nostalgia, like, when I see stuff like this, I'm just like, oh, I remember the suffering with this, and by suffering, I mean it really wasn't that bad. But, also I'm gonna spam these, because bees are kind of broken. Also, oh dang, I screwed up the dodge roll over that. You can dodge roll over all 4 of these if you time it right, like that. It's one of my favorite goofy techs. This is a well-made boss, POV, I'm just sucking at it. Another blank. I probably shouldn't have been spamming these more, because they'll come back through. I know this boss fight gets longer and longer the more he moves, but that's still... I think the projectiles still come back, because I think they have a finite number of bounces, not necessarily based on the range it has. And this is a good... I've got a good stack of power-ups here. I'm gonna do Super Meat Gun too, because this has been kind of broken. Yeah, it's interesting, because you used to really go back to things on a day-by-day basis, and then you kind of, like, honor it now. And in that same regard, too, funny enough, because I've been playing a lot of Pressure and Roblox and stuff recently, I find it very interesting, because I never got into Roblox as a kid, but it feels like almost everyone did, right? It's like the kind of universal thing for most kids my generation, and probably those before. Actually, I don't even know when Roblox was even first starting, but, it's never really my thing, right? And kind of in that same sense, I just don't really care about it as much as other people. But now that said, Pressure is really fun. I highly recommend Pressure to anyone who, if you ever get to play it, I would definitely take the chance you can. And please kill that spider. I hate these projectiles. Thank you, D20, so cool. Okay, what's in there? But yeah, see, kind of going back to those games over and over, once those people go to college eventually, because a lot of people who still play Roblox now aren't in college quite yet, but when you do, you'll probably come back to it and be like, oh man, I used to love this game, or I miss it, or maybe some combination of that. Or maybe forget about it as well. Be like, hey, I've moved on to other greater, later things. Maybe it'll only be much later where you remember it, and then truly sort of embrace that. Also, I should remember that these enemies, like, track or whatever, or like predict, so I need to like actually pay a little bit of attention here. Not like that. If I throw, I'm gonna be kind of mad, because I was like talking so much smack at the beginning of this. This game's easy game. I have done an actual no-hit, and no-hit all the bosses, super hot watch, all that. Would recommend it if you get the chance as well. It's a good challenge, a fun one, especially if you're a veteran of this game. Oh my gosh, I suck. Oh, funny. I'm gonna lose these like immediately, just wait. But so where's the value of nostalgia too? I mean, I guess kind of the idea there is simply... Oh my gosh, yeah, there it is, the last thing. I didn't see that even. The idea simply being that, well, you miss something, and it's the memory that might be enough to sort of satiate the meantime. But I think it's also a good reminder that, well, what you do have in the meantime... Oh, this is gonna screw me over, because the bouncing projectiles... There was no enemy there. Mild amounts of paranoia. That said, you can probably tell I'm running out of things to say here, so I'm trying to prolong this just for the sake of the game. For that nostalgia, that last hit of it. After I finish this, I'm probably not going to come back to this game for a while again. And you kind of just move on, you know? And that's the sad reality to it, is you can find something so great, bit of a niche treasure among all the other things in life, and then lose it to the other things in day-to-day life. Also, I suppose alpha bolts are cracked with this. because it's the one shot. I can go back to one-hitting these bozos. Also, 30-minute run's not bad, I'd say. Oh, and double tap, I just realized, also stacking with this. So this is a really powerful gun with alpha bullets, now that I really think about it. Just took a little bit of brain cells for that. What's another game that kind of invokes nostalgia? Terraria. I mean, I was listening to a lot of Terraria Calamity OST earlier today. Great OST, by the way, highly recommend it. My only caveat with that is some of the soundtracks are a little bit long. Oh, this is one of my favorite guns, just for the sole reason of using it as unintended. You just, like, speedrun gun. Well, I'm gonna go to the forge first to see if I can heal up. Seriously. I never really got into Calamity as much as some of the other people did. I played a lot of Terraria though, like, I think at least over 1,000 hours. Can't remember at this point. Because I'd had Terraria, like the mod launcher, way before it was on Steam. Skull Spitter is not that good. Do I have the bolt I can kill it? I do. You know what that means? I'm gonna do it. Do it. Oh, and I guess I activated this, and that's the Dead Shrine. I've actually never seen that icon before, that's a little weird. I don't know, guess the game got updated or something. Do I go for the dragon immediately instead of screwing around? Because there's another chest. I think I do. I just need to get it over with. I've got 4 hits I can take. I should be fine. Yeah, it's very a game I highly recommend as well. I might do that at some point. I just don't know what video I'd make on it yet. And the thing there would definitely be... I played so much of it when I was, like, middle school, but eventually just kind of get bored with it. And a big part of that for me was also just not having the right people to play with. I kept asking people, like, hey, you want to play Terraria when we get home and stuff? And they're like, yeah, sure. And then they would never show up, and I'm like, man, I'm a loser. Welcome to the internet. That's so sad, I guess, but also not really that sad either for me, if you know me. Happens, I suppose. That was a great place for me to run into, because the skulls. I probably should have actually just alien engined the skulls, if I was thinking. Also, kind of a funny fact, this bottom left corner isn't entirely safe always, but it's like the next closest thing to a safe spot in there for the wing attack. Yeah, I'd say any game that you put that much time into, you're probably going to feel some nostalgia for at some point, and you'll probably end up going back to it. Unless you have all the money in the world and just keep going from new thing to new thing. But then you kind of forget the value in the old things in life, you know? I guess the same could be said for people. Like, if you have those, like, old teachers that you really... please don't throw. If I throw, I'm gonna be slightly sad. Can I one-cycle this? Probably not. Ah, really close. Focus. Focus. It's called throwing for content. You wouldn't know unless you're a YouTuber, and by that I mean, that was very intended, trust. And it was now for the past, I guess, so let's add a little bit more nostalgia talk to it. I'm gonna shoot this guy in the skull, because it's funny. Also, if I fell off here, I wonder if I would, like, die from that. Is that invisible, or am I tripping? I also considered playing the Lich, because I think I do have a complete file. But, I was just like, you know, I don't really need to, so why bother? Might as well give myself a little bit of a challenge, too, because he's a bit of an easier character anyways. And this is the character I first started playing, so might as well go back to the tried and true, the old trusty, old reliable. And, now for one of the cooler bosses. Although I think the pilot's probably got the coolest, past, personally. At some point, though, I do need to play Cult of the Lamb, because I was told that the gimmicks are very similar to it. Well, that's ominous. Satanic statues? Ooh. The mad scientist. Flowy moment. You can give up. That makes you wonder what time periods these are from. Because all these are so, like, goofy as far as the, different time periods. Like, Pilot's probably, like, far future. Her, I have no idea. I kind of get, like, medieval era, but also, like, the technology is a bit insane, so... Oh, that's a sick attack. The Wings. Wings of Fire. Great book, by the way. I'd recommend reading that. Anyways, Left Click Simulator is now over. Look at that. Wow. If only I'd done a no-hit on him. Would have been cooler. Also, Bullet's got one of the cooler paths, too, and, like, Legends of Zelda references. It also makes you wonder, too, like, you think the games that we feel nostalgia for were built on the nostalgia of the game developers, the things they know. The original Zelda, growing up with that and all that. So, all that said, it has been a great sad reality tonight. Probably even one of the best, and maybe even the least sad. It's a game I still truly enjoy. With all that said, have a fantastic rest of your night. Hope your day's been good. Hope your tomorrow goes even better. And have a great rest of your night.